Welcome back to Gaming Unite. I'm your host, G.A.M.E.R here, and Pokemon Generation 9 has finally come to life with the release of both Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And with this entry in the franchise comes a lot of changes, both to the gameplay and the overall Pokemon formula. Did these changes land the way fans wanted them to? That's what we're here to talk about. The game has been under a lot of fire due to its insanely high amount of popularity, and certain things about the game we will talk about. But please beware, this review will contain spoilers about the game, so if at all worried, please leave now. But with that being said, let's get started talking about the bad. That's right, we're going to be starting with the bad because honestly, there's not much really here to talk about. The biggest problem this game has is the thing everybody's been talking about with the game, and that is its performance. Now, I'll go off and say, I did not have as many issues as I've been seeing online and on social media. Yes, I experienced tons of frame drops, but I did not experience as many bugs and glitches as what most people are. But I cannot ignore the glaring problem, and that is this game does have a lot of performance issues. The bugs, the glitches, the just absolute weird things that this game's able to do with its visuals and gameplay things that just go all crazy is honestly unacceptable. To a point, can't believe they released the game in the state that it is. Now, yes, I did experience some frame rate drops, but I can get past frame rate after, the first couple hours, and I did. The frame rate didn't bother me the longer I went on, but it is still a problem that I wish was fixed. I wish it was running at the normal frame rate, at least stable. Doesn't have to be 60, but at least a stable 30 would be nice. But yeah, the only other thing bad about the game I could think of is there was this gameplay aspect, these missions in the game that I just did not find interesting at all, and that was the Team Star bosses. You kind of just go into their base, send your Pokemon out to smack them once, and then you fight this big old car with the Pokemon, and it's just like, this is kind of just boring, to be honest with you. And they were all the exact same thing. I just didn't find the Team Star bosses to be all that interesting. But we're going to talk about the good, because there is a lot of good to talk about. A lot of good. And the first thing, what's on everybody's mind? The open world design. It worked so well. I think it worked so well. The open world Pokemon design of Pokemon knocked out the park. The wild Pokemon battling, the catching, the grinding, it was all great. Like, I don't think I've ever had that much fun just walking around, catching, battling, and like leveling up my Pokemon, because it was so fun. All the different areas you're able to go to, all the different Pokemon you're able to find, which, by the way, this game has a huge Pokédex, and I love it. Absolutely just amazing. The gym battles and the Titans were also fantastic. Those I really did like. There were three main storylines in the game: the gym battles, the Titans, and the star bosses. The star bosses, as we just talked about, I did not like, but the gym battles and Titans were fantastic. Both of them had great storylines, great gameplay moments, and just brought the game something to really enjoy throughout your playthrough. And I say it worked well with the storylines because both of them I actually got interested in. And that was Arvin with Mabostiff, I think, or I don't know how you say his dog's name, but Arvin and his dog. And then Nimona and the gym trainer / Elite Four, I thought all had good storylines. Arvin and the dog was definitely my favorite for sure. And speaking of story, the opening was a good, strong start. I really got into it. I was very curious about some things. I wanted to get playing, and that's what a start should do. And the music throughout the game, of course, slapped. Visually, it was one of the best Pokemon games to date. New Pokemon Snap is like the only competitor I think it has right now. And I do think new Pokemon Snap does look better, but that's besides the point. The content the game offers is pretty good, and the amount of things you're able to do is very impressive. Like, you're able to do a lot of things in this game that I did not expect. You're able to go on picnics, you're able to shop, there's tons of mini games, there's a lot of stuff to do in this game, and I'm really appreciative that they put the effort in and gave us more than just, baseline Pokemon game, and I can really appreciate that. The best part about this game, though, and I've kind of saved this to the very end of the good section, and that is the final 2 to 3 hours. Oh my gosh, absolutely fan freaking tastic. Oh my god, guys, I would not change a single thing about this game's final 2 hours. It made me cry. It made me read every dialogue moment. It made me care for characters I didn't think I would ever care about. And most of all, it was fun. And the most important thing, gave a very satisfying conclusion to what I think is a rather great game. Now, to go into spoilers, so if you don't want to get spoiled, click off now. The professor ended up making a huge impact in the game for me. The final boss battle against, the mascot of your game was really cool. The area you go to, Area 0 at the very end, and all the different, just the environment of that place and the music was, so spot on. And getting the dialogue between Penny, Nimona, and Arvin was just also wonderful. Trying to figure out the story about how your Pokemon comes from the past or the future, depending if you have Scarlet or Violet. Oh man, absolutely fantastic. Loved it. It's sad because I would say if God of War Ragnarok didn't come out like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, at the time of recording this, I would say this is probably one of my favorite like endings to a game. But unfortunately, God of War kind of messed that up. But anyway, let's move on to the mixed. And there was a big chunk in the middle where I felt the game's story was kind of all over the place for me and not that interesting. See, because in the good, I pointed out it had a good start, and of course it had a fantastic ending. I felt the middle was actually the weakest part of the game. I felt, I don't know, it just wasn't, it wasn't as engaging. Yeah, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. I kind of just felt, there was one point I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and beat every gym because I have no idea what else I'm supposed to be doing or why, and am gonna beat every Titan and boss. I wanted to like skip every dialogue scene. And I don't know, it just wasn't all that engaging. Luckily, the ending and the start really carried the story. And there were, granted, there were some story moments in the middle that I found interesting, like Arvin and the dog. Arvin and the dog was the only really real story piece that I really enjoyed throughout the middle of the game. But also something I found mixed was in the co-op in the game, because yeah, that was a big new feature leading into Scarlet and Violet. The co-op in the game, while yes, it was cool to play with my friends, in the end, I felt like it needed more. Really the best part about the co-op was the Terra raid battles. I felt like that actually added something really neat to the co-op and just the game overall, and leveling up your characters. Kind of made it OP, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Which actually leads me to terrestrialization. It's the new gimmick with Scarlet and Violet Gen 9. Basically you take out this Terra Ball, you throw it at your Pokemon, they become like this super crazy light chandelier looking thing, and they get a giant hat to represent their element. I do not like the look or the reason for Terraform, but I will say I did end up liking what it brought to the gameplay. And that's why it's in mixed. Leading into the game, I thought terrestrialization looked stupid. It was going to be a waste of time. I wanted Megas back, and I was not hyped for it at all. Granted, I still do think it looks stupid, and I'm not exactly sure why they decided to do it, but I did like what it brought to the gameplay. Bumping up your Pokemon's damage, sometimes switching their element, and I don't know, I quite liked what it did, and like I just said, the Terra raid battles were nice. So in the end, I felt like Terra was actually a good inclusion, I will say. A little confession there for all my friends. My biggest want for this game, and this is why it's a mix, my biggest want for this game specifically is a difficulty setting. I found the entire game to be so easy except the ending. Once you get past the first 18 missions, the difficulty suddenly jumps sky high. please, I like that. I like when it's difficult. I like when it's a challenge, when I actually have to work towards something. Because during that middle section, I just went to every gym and just clapped. I didn't even like, I didn't like level up. I didn't grind. It was easy. It was really easy. So please add a difficulty setting, because the gameplay is otherwise phenomenal. And so adding a difficulty setting would give a lot to your experience throughout the game. The open world, for the most part, is fine, like I was talking about earlier, but it is missing one crucial part of Pokemon, and that is its iconic locations and landmarks. If they added more of those, it would be a fantastic open world map, especially for Nintendo. But yeah, that's about all I found mixed. The results. So, I do, without a doubt, think this is the best Pokemon game since at least X and Y, and honestly, one of the best of all time. I truly do believe that. I dug the story for the most part. I really love the gameplay, like, probably the best gameplay from Pokemon, like, so long. The visuals are great, and as long as they fix the huge problem that is the game's performance, I think people will realize how great the gameplay actually is and be able to enjoy its good visuals, music, and for the most part, interesting story. But with strong game design and a phenomenal ending, I am very happy to say I extremely recommend playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and think it's a great game. Just maybe wait until the patch comes out. My personal score will be 9 out of 10, my critical rating will be 82 out of 100, and my tier grade will be A. My overall score is an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, definitely leave a like, leave a comment in the section down below provided, and please subscribe. I will be back tomorrow for Goat Simulator 3 review. I'll see you then. G.A.M.E.R out. Peace.